Hello and welcome to part 2 of Austrian Gunmakers. Today we're going to be moving out of Ferlach and looking at a couple of artisan makers, but also looking at a lot of the larger manufacturers that Austria has to offer. Part 3 will be looking at history, but the first, where would we be without Johann Springer? Much better known for their auction house than their gun making, certainly in the rest of the world. Their auction house generally presents some of the nicest things you'll ever see. But they do also offer brand new builds, a bolt action and a double rifle, express double rifle. They also on their website have a set of 3 bolt actions, one in 375, one in 300 Win and one in 243, and I'm quite partial to those actually. It's a very pretty looking set of guns. Either way, their auction website accounts for way too many hours of my life in lockdown, and more to the point is a great source for images that we used in some of the first ones, so my thanks go to them. Go and check them out. Next up is one of my favourites from Austria, and this is the Fuchs Fine Guns. Best known for the Steyr and Fuchs double bolt action rifle. Yes, you did hear me right, a double bolt action. A bolt action that has a dual magazine, a twin bolt head that is kind of like a bolt action express rifle. So basically what happened is that in 1989, a Hungarian guy called Joseph Szécely had an experience of being simultaneously charged by 3 elephants. 2 shots from his express rifle wasn't enough. He survived that, but he realised there is definitely a place for a double rifle that you can reload quicker than a double rifle. So a bolt action double rifle was born. Semi-automatics don't really work in that situation, for those wondering that. Firstly, because semi-automatics are banned in many of the countries you might want to shoot dangerous game in, and secondly, if you get a jam for your second shot, you're probably going to die. So you need that manual powered reliability, and the Steyr and Fuchs double-barreled bolt action rifle was born. So Fuchs Fine Guns builds the Steyr and Fuchs guns, and they are just spanking. I suppose this should probably be in Hungarian guns, but it's not because, well, it's not. They really are beautiful, and I like them all the way from the little 22s all the way up to double 416s, but for me it's the Lion's Dream is my favourite. It's a titanium action rifle with some serious style, and these guns with their 2 magazines in the large calibers are capable of a 6+2 capacity. I think personally that is awesome, isn't it? An 8-shot gun. That is a lot of death right there, and the end cap on this one is made of mammoth ivory, and that is particularly pretty. Next up is Pritz Jagdwaffen and Messer Manufacture. They make a really interesting top sliding bolt system in which you can take the entire box of the action out of the front of the gun. And when I say this, we're talking like the firing pin section as opposed to the hammer. So you've heard of detachable triggers. This is a detachable action face. I have never seen one in the flesh, but the idea of an action that you can take the actual striking mechanism out of the front, and more importantly, that same action will take all the way from like a 22 Hornet all the way up to monster safari calibers, that appeals to me. It's pretty cool. They do it in a steel and an alloy, and they range all the way from fairly light 2.5 kilos all the way up to a pretty beastie 3.5 to 4 kilos. Next up is Strasser Rifles. You'll have seen the RS-14 Evolution. They're straight pull, but they also make the Strasser TC1, this big, long-range brute of a thing. Pretty cool, fairly standard, and that is our first going into the mass manufactured market. They're a nice rifle, go and see them. For me, they're not the best straight pull out there, but they are very interesting all the same. Next is Steyr Mannlicher. Where would we be without Steyr Mannlicher? They were the rifle that we all kind of lusted after as kids because they were the ones that all of the European stalkers brought over, who we all looked up to. They have moved on quite away from there, and as an adult now I noticed that the originals probably weren't the most perfect rifles of all, but they were just interesting. The monoblock that they do now is just super duper cool. A rifle that is made with the barrel and action out of 1 piece of steel. More importantly, they did an amazing little video for it that I really enjoyed, sort of taking people through time. It's definitely worth watching their website. I think it's called Steyr Evolution. They also do a fully silenced gun. They also do the Steyr AUG, where would we be without that? And they make pistols too, apparently. It's not just the Commodore Garden, SSG or Pro Mountains they do either. They do a full custom service if you want it. So you can still get that superb Austrian flair in pretty much any of their guns. You just have to ask nicely and get your wallet out. Next up is Glock, the manufacturer of the first successful polymer-made gun. I am assured by people who actually have access to them that they are really good. But who knows? So the next one isn't really a gun maker, but they do have lots of guns made for them, and this is summer exclusive. My favourite is this custom push lever opening hammer action Blaser single shot rifle. So if you're going to make a gun with hammers nowadays, you need to really set yourself apart. You can't just be making boring stuff. Members will remember the squirrel hammer gun, but these guys make the goat hammer gun. Alright, I know it's not a goat, it's an ibex, but that's not the point. Goat hammers. Summer Exclusive definitely deserve a shout, just for the ingenuity that went into this, even if they don't really make it themselves. A quick step away from powder burners brings us on to Steyr Sport, the best airgun manufacturer in the world for target-specific airguns and air pistols. They pretty much won every Olympic air pistol thing ever. They are exceptionally well made, but they are also exceptionally affordable. If you're after the best for not a lot, Steyr Sport really does allow access to that market, and I've always been a fan of Steyr air rifles, just based on their simplicity, their accuracy, and holy hell, some of the best triggers you'll ever pull. If you're into airguns, that is, and if you're not, well, go and have a go with them. You will soon be into airguns. Next in line in the more common or garden Austrian guns is Voere. We'll remember Voere from cheap auction-y crap guns, but they still make guns, and some of the guns now are really nice, all based around a Mauser 98 action. They're a good-looking gun, priced to compete with the Seiko. They also make the X and M range of chassis-built precision rifles, but those are all 6K plus, and if you're into them, they are actually pretty neat. Next is the Titan 6 bolt-action range from Strasser Rifles. They are a really smart bolt-action rifle, come in a sort of classic style and a modern style, black, camo, whatever you want. Fairly common or garden, and until I see one in my hands, I can't really comment on how they are special. Ritter are a manufacturer of long-range rifles. The SX1 is this, again, monstrous long-range chassis-built beast. A really good-looking rifle, actually. But there you go. That's pretty much it. The final one on the list is ISSC, well known for their straight pulls, their semi-automatics, and their pistols. Their straight pulls did have a couple of issues in the 17 HMR variant, but that's by the by. Generally speaking, they are great fun, super fast, and that big side bolt actually makes for a really slick biathlon style feel. Before I finish this video, it would be wrong to not mention certain companies like FBT, Fine Ballistic Tools, who make some of the best carbon fibre stocks around, Swarovski, Thales, Swarovski, IGB, Barrel makers. You know, there's some amazing companies in Austria that are just brilliant. There's also some amazing retailers who still work under the name, or some amazing gun makers who no longer make guns and are just retailers now, who I have missed out, but we might visit in part 3, which will be mostly history and might be a little while because there's a hell of a lot of gun makers from there and a huge amount of research to do for that. Guys, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time.